Hello everyone and welcome to Permaculture of the Absurd, where I'm on 13 acres of undeveloped land in central Texas with the goal, the hope, the dream of slowly spending the next 10 to 15 years turning this into a sustainable food forest garden with an off-grid homestead, doing my best to follow the principles of permaculture design. Now, when I started this, I had no intention of recording my progress out here. I actually wanted to use this as a way to get away from technology and screens. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized there's going to be some benefits to taking the time to stop every now and then and record my process. First and foremost, it's really important to remember that I'm not the landowner here. This land is in my wife's family, and some of the stakeholders live out of the state. And I wanted them to be able to follow along with the progress and make sure that they feel included in it. It's also going to be really nice when I'm at home doing the research and development. I'll be able to go back and rewatch footage, and maybe I'll pick something up that I didn't get the first time walking through it. But most importantly, I really have begun to appreciate the online community for all the permaculture gardeners out there. There are people around the world that are sharing their struggles and their successes and making online videos, and I started to feel really selfish knowing that I was learning from those videos and drawing inspiration, but I wasn't giving anything back to the community. And so hopefully this is an attempt for me to be able to give something back, and hopefully it becomes more than just don't do it the way that guy did it. So what's in it for you, random internet person? Well, obviously, if you're into topics like permaculture, gardening, foraging, off-grid living, homesteading, DIY projects, I'll probably throw in some wilderness survival or bushcraft skills as well. If any of those things are an interest to you, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Maybe none of those things interest you and you just want to follow along and participate in some schadenfreude as you laugh at my failures and struggles out here, or you just want to troll me in the comments. Go ahead. I'm 100% here for it, and I love that energy. Hope you enjoy. But before you go wandering around in the woods with a stranger that you just met online, please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Jeff Smith, and as I mentioned earlier, I have a wonderful wife, and together we have two fantastic children. I'm also a theater teacher here in the Austin area, and I think teaching theater has given me a really diverse set of skills that are going to come in handy out here. I also have a love of nature and an adventurous spirit, and so I think together combining my love of theater and my love of nature, that's how I ended up with Permaculture of the Absurd. There was a movement in theater, or a genre of theater, called theater of the absurd, where the Greek philosopher Aristotle, when he wrote the Poetics, he defined the structure of a well-made play. And for 2,000 years, we accepted that as the way to write a play. Until theater of the absurd came along, where right after World War II, it was basically a complete rejection of everything Aristotle had written. You may be familiar with Samuel Beckett's Waiting for Godot. This revolutionized theater, and it allowed artists to go and explore and push the boundaries of what live performance could be. And so you can kind of see how that ties into permaculture. Permaculture to me, at least in my research, seems to be a rejection of modern gardening practices. Instead of we've always tilled nice, neat rows of vegetables, we're going back to more of an all-natural approach to gardening, and that's something that I really connected with. So what can you expect on Permaculture of the Absurd? My goal is not to create educational videos about what permaculture is. There are already people out there with infinitely more knowledge than me on the subject matter, so I'm going to leave that to them. My goal is really just to document my progress out here and engage with the online community. But please don't expect regularly scheduled videos. Between being a husband and a father and a teacher, my time out here is going to be really limited, and I want to use what time I have working with nature, not necessarily worrying about creating online content. But my biggest philosophy in teaching is just jumping in with both feet. So now that I've watched the documentaries and I've read a couple books, let's go get started.